Hi everyone, it's me Roxanne, and I'm back with a new video featuring the Serger Pro Finish Serger and the Brother 1034D Serger. In this video, I will be comparing feature by feature and sharing my thoughts on each one of these entry-level sergers. So stay tuned. Before I get started on this comparison video, I want you to know that I will be starting with the Serger Pro Finish Serger, sharing my thoughts on a particular feature of that machine, and then I will immediately switch over to the Brother and share my thoughts on that same feature of the 1034D. Before I get started on the video portion of this comparison, I've prepared these 3 slides comparing each machine feature of the Serger Pro Finish and the 1034D. The first area that I'm going to focus on in my comparison is on the Serger Pro Finish, where the needles are inserted. This is the screwdriver that came with the Serger Pro Finish, and I'd like you to notice that each one of the needles, needle A and needle B, have separate screws for inserting. I like that better than the Brother. But I'd also like you to notice that there is a closed channel here, so you have to feel when you insert the needle to make sure it's inserted all the way up into the shaft. Now let me show you the Brother. This is the same area of the Brother 1034D, and what I'd like you to notice here is that both of the needles are held in by the same screw that is adjusted by this little Allen wrench that came with the machine. I find this to be a little more difficult to control both needles since one screw holds in both needles. But what I like more about this machine is that I can see both of the tops of the needles, and I know that both needles are inserted all the way up in the shaft, which is its proper position. Disengaging the upper knife on the Serger Pro Finish is very simple and easy. This is your upper knife. You press in with your left hand and you spin with your right. And your knife is out of the way for stitching. Here I am in front of the Brother Serger, and this is the knife that I will show you how to disengage. The first thing you need to do is make sure that the needles are in their lowest position. And then the next thing you will need to do is to push the lever towards the back of your machine that I will be showing you in a second. Now, as I raise the needles up, you will notice that the cutter is now stationary. And here is the lever that I moved backwards to disengage the knife. This is the back of the Serger Pro Finish Serger, and I wanted to point out a couple of features here. Number one, these holders underneath the cones don't keep the thread quite as held in sturdily as the Brother does. But a couple other things that I do like about this machine is as you lower the telescopic thread guide, number one, each channel is open and you don't have to thread through a hole. You will just slide the thread over the top. And I like that it fits down, each thread guide fits down into the cones. So if you do move it around, your threads won't fall on the floor. Here is the handle that the Serger Pro Finish has integrated into its design. When you do move your machine around by this handle, be very careful to place it back into position, or it will cause tension issues when you're sewing. Here is the back of the Brother Serger, and I wanted to show you the cone holders that are on this machine. They're larger and they seem to hold the cones much more steadily than on the Serger machine. Now, as I lower the telescopic thread guide, this upper portion is plastic, and it does have a round circle built into the hole that sort of falls down into each one of the cones, but it's not necessary to hold the cones in place since they are so stable. But what I want you to notice is that each one of these thread guides are closed, and on the Singer they are open, so you must thread through these instead of just laying the thread in the top. Now the next thing I want you to notice is behind the threads here is an integrated handle into the plastic housing. And there's no concern here, like in the Singer, of leaving your handle up and it possibly causing confusion with your tension. One thing I noticed about both of these machines is the extension tables were a little bit tricky to remove. This is the Singer Pro Finish, and there's a button underneath that I'm pressing upward in my left hand, and my right hand I'm pressing to the left in this location, and it comes off. And this is the button that I was pressing upward with. Another thing I liked about the Singer Pro Finish is there is a cavity here to store any of your accessories that might have come with your machine. Now, in order to return it from using the free arm feature, you just slide it back into position and give it a tap and you're good to go. Here is the brother serger, and taking the free arm off was tricky the first time, but it seems the more I take it off, the easier it is. I just give it a little tap right here and it comes off very easily to use the free arm feature. Now when placing it back into position, just slide it back in and gently press it back into position. Here is the presser foot lifter on the Singer Pro Finish. It's found in the traditional place in the back behind the presser foot. What's nice about this is as you pick it up, you can pick it up for a little bit extra room underneath the presser foot. See how I pick it up and you get a little extra room. On the brother, the presser foot lever is located on the right side of the machine, which I found to be a terrific feature. As you push it upwards, it brings your presser foot up, and then you also have a little extra room if you continue to push it backwards. So I would say that there is a little bit more clearance between the presser foot and the needle plate on the brother than on the Singer Pro Finish. Plus, having the lever on the right side, as being a right-handed person, I thought this was a terrific feature. One of the most important things when comparing or selecting a serger for your own personal use is to actually see it sew and to actually know what it sounds like, because sergers tend to be a little more loud than a regular single needle sewing machine. So right now I have the Singer Pro Finish set up to do the 4-thread Ultra Mock Safety Stitch. This is the stitch most commonly used when constructing garments. So now I'm going to run a test stitch and show you exactly what it sounds like and what the stitch looks like. I have a t-shirt knit fabric here, and I'm going to pick the presser foot up and place the fabric close to the cutter. One thing to always remember with a serger is you want to make sure to pull threads back, never to the side, because pulling the threads to the side can damage your needle plate. So here's what the test stitch should look like. Nice and clean up against the edge where the cutter has cut. And that's what the back should look like. And I have this machine set up color-coded in the colors of the dials so that you can see exactly which thread may need to be adjusted if you're having a tension issue. that's what your stitch should look like from the right side. You will see a little bit of the stitch, but keep in mind that I'm using colors that don't match my fabric. If I was using all white, you would barely notice those stitches. Here I am ready to run a test stitch on the 1034D Brother Serger. I have the same fabrication, and I have this machine set up to run the same 4-thread Ultra Safety Mock Stitch, which is the stitch used for construction that I just showed you on the Singer model. Now this stitch is set to default, and one thing that I did notice is if I had this dial set to default, which is a 5, my stitches hung off the edge just a little bit. So what I did to correct that is I turned this dial up to a 6. And now I'm going to run another line of stitching so you can see the difference. Now if you notice, all the stitches sit much closer to the edge of the fabric with it set on 6, but with it set on 5, which is default, the stitches hung off the edge just a little bit. So it's just a minor difference to make in the settings, but it's not a deal breaker. The stitch is very nice. You can barely see it on the right side, keeping in mind that I have my threads set up to match my dials. This machine I did find to be just a little bit louder than the Singer Pro Finish, but I thought that this was a great machine to use, just like the Singer Pro Finish. Here I am in front of the Singer Pro Finish Serger, and what I'd like you to notice is the tension dials. These dials control the tension discs where the thread passes through to create tension for your stitch. When you're going to thread your machine, lift your presser foot and dial all of your dials down to 0. This will help get your threads seated properly in your tension discs so that when you reset your dials, you won't have tension issues. Here I am from the top view of the 1034D, and I'd like you to notice this little caption here that says threading tension release. Each one of the tension dials has a tension release attached to the mechanism. So when you are threading this machine, you will need to slide each one of these to the right to release the tension of the tension disc, so that you can thread through the tension disc properly. Here I am in front of the Singer Pro Finish, and I'm going to open up the front cover by sliding it to the right and down. And what I'd like you to notice is this little graphic on the inside that's color-coded according to the dials on the machine, and it shows you exactly how to thread your machine. It even shows you the order in which to thread: upper looper, lower looper, right needle, left needle. Here I am in front of the Brother 1034D serger, and the front cover is opened the same way as it is open on the Singer model. It's slid to the right and then pulled down. And on the inside cover, there's also a graphic for threading the upper and the lower looper. The upper looper is noted in green, and the threading of the lower looper is noted in blue. Here I am in front of the Brother 1034D, and on both sergers, the more difficult looper to thread is the lower looper. What Brother has done to make that a little bit easier is it has included this slide out lever to help you thread the lower looper. You simply place your thread around this area and you slide it back into position so that the arrows match, and it makes it easier to thread the lower looper. Here I am in front of the Singer Pro Finish serger, and what I'd like you to notice is this little lever. This is an integrated stitch finger. When it's pulled forward, it's set to R, which is set for a rolled hem stitch, and when it's pushed toward the back and set on S, it's for standard serging. I like that this is integrated into the machine and not a part that you have to take out and then reinsert if you want to change your stitch. Here I am in front of the Brother serger, and this machine has a removable stitch finger, which I'm going to show you how to take out. There is a small lever here, right at the bottom. Press that in and pull out the stitch finger. Now, with the stitch finger removed, you're able to sew a rolled hem stitch. When wanting to go back to regular serging, simply match the two yellow arrows and press it right back into position. So there you have it, my comparison of the Singer Pro Finish serger and the Brother 1034D serger. I consider both of these machine entry-level sergers. They're priced around the same amount, and I find them both to be solid machines. I didn't find anything mechanically that I didn't find sound, even though I read continuously about people breaking the Brother needle plate. I didn't find anything that I felt inferior about the needle plate. I think it's more about technique and people not pulling their serger threads toward the back, but pulling it to the left. I feel that if you want to learn how to use the serger, that both of these machines are very easy to learn to use and thread. Just make the commitment to learn how to use your machine when you purchase it. And don't be afraid of getting it out of the box. There are plenty of groups on Facebook to help you and plenty of videos on YouTube to help you get along. So I hope if you're looking into one of these machines that this video was helpful. Have a happy creative day. Bye now.